A lot of my childhood friends, when they had kids, they kind of gave up. They gave up on kind of definitely health related things. They gave up on maybe dreams they had because they feel like they're a father now and they can't do those things. When I had my child, I got way more motivated. I got motivated to work harder. I got motivated to get in better shape so that I can keep up with him. If I have more children, I'm going to be physically able to, as they get older and they play sports and he wants to go run and play soccer or basketball or whatever it is, I want to do that with them. And so it's so important for me to be in the best shape of my life in this portion of my life. And same with work. Like, I'm pursuing things for him now, where if I'm able to succeed and give him the best life possible, that's best scenario for him and my entire family.
It's not necessarily about not having enough time. It's just that oftentimes there's a lot of energy that's wasted on things that aren't really moving the needle. And so I would just look at your day and say, hey, what am I doing that's outside the scope of for me to reach my goals, whatever that may be, and then get rid of it. And what you'll find is that if you could just hone in, be present and focus on each thing you want to do, and remove all the distractions and the noise, you're going to have plenty of time in your day. It's not that you don't have enough time. It's just you're probably not allocating it effectively. And so I think doing a deep reflection of, hey, is the time I'm spending actually contributing towards the goals that I have set, or are they distracting from those goals?
Wins create wins. Success creates success. The more little successes you have, the best big success is coming from it. It's all about consistent application. And so for me, I have all these little wins in the morning, and then I'm going to focus myself on that big win in the afternoon, and then I'm going to turn everything back on and let it distract me. But, I've interviewed enough people over the last 2 years, and I mean high performers at the top of their game, and plenty more of them to come. And the one thing that I've worked out in that whole time, the thing that the most successful people do is they do things with intent. They are intentional. So they don't go through things without a plan. They sit there, they write out a plan, they do things with intent. And I think the next big superpower that's coming, I honestly believe this. If you can be intentional and not distracted, you are more valuable than anyone else you're working with.
Yeah, the best advice would be just life too short. You need to do something today. If you haven't started something, you just got to do it. You got to start. You just can't sit back and expect everything to be hunky-dory, because it's not going to be. We are, as I said, we're getting sicker and sicker by the year. And I think every child out there, look, without putting people in a sort of a box, but for me and for a lot of other fathers out there, I think it's super important that we are active with our kids. Not necessarily for our kids, but it's with them. So, I don't want to see any father held back because of they can't go kayaking with their son because they don't have the flexibility or the strength or the core strength to jump in the kayak, or they want to go, the kids want to play soccer and they're just, they're too tired to keep up. Yep. That's sort of heartbreaking for me. And as I said, let's do something now, because, we're not getting any younger, and life is too short,
I'm not trying to be an arsehole, but I know there's a lot of people that use their kids as an excuse why they can't either get to the gym or why they can't pursue what they want to pursue.
Yep.
From where I am now, having a kid that hasn't changed any of that. I'm still doing everything I was doing beforehand. I still spend massive amounts of time with my daughter. Never neglect her or anything like that. I take her along to the training sessions. I know not everyone can do that, but I use her as motivation to get the things done rather than as an excuse to not do them. So if you can, and I think maybe involving your kids as well. Like I said, she'll be there at sparring, watching me spar. I'll put her on the mat afterwards and she'd run around. I'll have a wrestle with her as well. And I think that, having her there, having her watch motivates me a bit more. Like I said, not everyone is able to do that and take their kid to their place of work or take them to where they train. But if you can find a way to sort of include your kids in what you're doing and I think that will help in the motivation as well, and I'll probably make you love it a bit more as well.
For a lot of people that don't have the fitness history that you and I have, fitness is a struggle. It's not a natural, I love it and I love the feeling of it and so on. It's hard work. And I think you have to get family buy-in to the process is the first thing. So if you have a partner, a wife, and you guys are in a unit together, you kind of have to figure out what's going to work and ideally what's going to work for them to be active as well, if you can make that happen. Because, when you're both active and you're both sharing that, even if you're not working out together, it makes such a difference. But one of the big things for me is play the long game. For me, part of the shift of focusing on working out for that hour every day and having a structured program to follow too is really key. But it's like, I might not get as much done this week in my work, and that is totally fine, because over the course of the year, it kind of all evens out, And if I'm fit and healthy and feeling good about myself and have better energy and don't get sick as much, then over the course of the year, I'm actually going to get more done anyway than what I need to worry about day to day or week to week. So play the longer game.
I'm going to miss this time where they're all they want to do is hang out with me, and play and I know that there's going to come a time where they're going to want to be gone on a Friday and they want to go to stay the night at their friend's house, or they're going to want to be with their friends and not at home with us. And so really it's taking it day by day and saying, okay, well, I know that this is going to be it's going to be temporary, and I know I have to cherish every living second of this. So I think that that's a big thing. I also I look at life in regards to where I'm at now in my late 30s, and I've got these two young kids, and I don't get a second chance at this, So I want to do the best I can, and that means trying to give them as much time as I can, and so, I saw a post that you had about it's not the material, but it's more like the experience of things. And I want to just be able to be present and be a part of their lives and all of these things, from youth sports to their school play, and not miss those things. And because that's what they're going to remember. They're not going to objects I got them necessarily. They're going to remember, was I at their soccer games?
It's an easy rule that I kind of follow, is that my kids are watching.
Yeah.
That's something I always think about. For me, my kids are observing, and as a father and all the other people listening to this, your kids are watching you. They're learning from you. The thing that keeps me going is knowing that my kids are watching, and I don't want to let them down. I need to be an example. I also believe that kids are a reflection of my values. Do you mean every now and then when you go to the shops and you see a little kid just going off, screaming, tantrums, all that, I don't really look at the kid and go, poor kid. I look at the parent and go, dude, you mustn't have some parameters and rules and balance in your life because your kid is doing that. Now, my kids are not perfect. Every now and then my kids will crack off and that's just what kids do, right? But kids are a reflection of our values. So for me, I need to show up every day. I need discipline, rules, even for my kids, and I need to be the example. If I do that, I know my values will be instilled in them in some ways. Some ways they won't. Every now and then you think you've got it nailed and you get humbled and, your daughter kicks off in the shopping mall. So I get that. But the thing that keeps me going and is at the forefront of building my business and my passion for my purpose is my family.
But as far as success as in business or in your own health and fitness, like I said at the start of this, you've got to schedule stuff in. You've got to make ourselves equally as important as our children. And most of the time I deal with parents who do one or the other. So they either are too busy making money, supplying houses, cars, holidays for kids, and truthfully, what kids want is time with you. Or they totally neglect themselves physically. I've run into so many guys 35 to 40 who say, well, I'm 40 now, so yes, I've got the gut, but they've got success in every other area, but they're not healthy, and that concerns me because you have heart problems, you have strokes, you have all of these things that can just happen overnight. I know someone very close to me and her husband had a stroke at 42, and 2 years later he was unwell for the next 2 years, and 2 years later he passed away, and leaving her and 2 young boys. Like that's tough, you know, that we haven't thought of our own health, and sadly until we lose it. And
start doing is stop comparing your life, your physique, your lifestyle, your travel, your bank account to that of anybody else on social media or anybody else in life for that matter. Worry about you, do you, and be you. You don't compare your house to the person down the road. You don't go, okay, well my house is, you know, shitty because I haven't got that 7th bathroom and I haven't got that, you know, grand backyard with the sparkling pool and all this kind of stuff. You also don't compare your car, you know, your Kia that's in the garage to the guy's Lamborghini down the road. So why are you comparing your physique, comparing your lifestyle, comparing your, you know, material items to, you know, these people that you see on social media? You need to start learning to become happier with who you are and what you're about. Start setting meaningful goals that can be slowly achieved more and more day by day to start hitting those milestones that will eventually get you to the place that you want to be.